All right, what is up? Welcome back to the Big and Stuff podcast. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
We had some scheduling stuff. We got a little busy the last couple of weeks. We weren't able to record last time, but hopefully we'll be able to get back on the ball pretty soon here. So, all of our notes are a little bit out of date.
They're very out of date.
But that's all right. We can still talk about them anyway.
Yeah.
First thing, I guess, is we saw Dragon Ball Superhero.
Very good.
Which I've got to say, that is the dumbest name.
Let's get our drinks open. Yeah, I'm thirsty real quick. Cheers. Boink. Ready?
Yep.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That was all right. So, Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yes.
That is
the goofiest fucking
That must sound better in Japanese or something, because it does not sound good in English.
Sounds horrible.
Dragon Ball Superhero.
When I saw that it was coming out and that was the name, I was like, that is the goofiest shit I have ever heard.
Yeah, if they had just called it Dragon Ball Superhero, I think that would have been fine. But having two supers in a row is just so silly sounding.
Yeah.
So I guess
it's a great movie. It is very good.
Very enjoyable. Yeah, I saw it twice, actually. I saw it with you, and then I went and I took my little brothers to go see it as well. And they had a great time.
It was awesome.
Even my youngest brother, who hasn't really seen much of Dragon Ball, he's seen a couple of random things here and there. What's up?
I'm just making sure it's set up correctly.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think so, yeah.
So even he, who hadn't seen a whole lot of Dragon Ball previously and is coming in kind of fresh, was able to enjoy it quite a bit. It's just a fun, colorful, action-packed, funny movie.
And so there are a ton of characters in the movie, but it explains everything very well at the beginning. It gives you a whole ass backstory for what you need to know before the movie starts.
Yeah, I think all of the relevant characters, like Gohan and Piccolo, were explained well enough, as well as the Red Ribbon Army, that even if you don't 100% get everything, you can follow the plot of the movie.
You're still going to have a good time watching it too.
So I guess the big thing... Okay, go ahead.
I will say there are a lot of characters in there. I don't know if I told you this or not. I don't think Chi-Chi was in it at all.
No, well, I think the movie just was not focusing on everybody. It was not really an everybody movie. It was more like just Gohan and Piccolo, mostly Piccolo, who was... It was cool to see him be the main character, because his feeling like he's falling behind a little bit in... the
everything.
Yeah, just in the power scaling of the series, it's nice to have him catch up.
Yeah.
Classic of fly. It's ridiculous. So at least it's not a fruit fly; it's just a normal one. So I don't know why that's better to me. They're
not
as many of them.
They're louder.
Yeah. But the big thing that really stood out to me, the marketing leading up to this, and then when you start watching the movie, is the animation style, which is way different than the rest of the series. They tried a little bit of CGI implemented in Broly, and I remember thinking that part stuck out to me as being the least good-looking part of that movie, which is otherwise really fantastic looking. Yeah. So I was kind of skeptical when
they said
it was revealed that this is going to be a fully CG movie, because usually CG just doesn't mix super well with anime. They've gotten better, especially with stuff like Attack on Titan final season.
Well, I think the tech has gotten better.
Yeah.
And it's gotten easier to use, I would assume.
Yeah, so that being said, I actually really enjoyed the art style. Once I got used to it, the first couple minutes, I was like, this is weird.
It was really disorienting.
Do a lot of spinning the camera around, because that's something that's very difficult to do in 2D animation.
Yeah.
Because you got to draw the character from every different angle.
Right.
So because of CGI, you can just move the camera in the 3D space. And so they did a lot of, I feel, whipping the camera around in goofy ways.
So about that, I thought that they did it really well in the movie too, later on.
During the fights and stuff, it was really cool, because you get to see the clashing, and then it'll go between their arms while they're fighting and stuff like that. You got some really cool shots out of it.
Damn, I wish I would have watched it twice.
It was sweet. I really enjoyed it.
It was honestly a very fun movie, and I was expecting it to be only I was expecting it to be kind of mid. Honestly.
Yeah, well, all of the marketing really focused on the Gammas, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to like them, and I wasn't sure if they were going to be the villains or if they were going to be people who were joining the crew or whatever, and it ends up being a little bit of both. But I actually enjoyed the Gammas much more than I thought I would, which is kind of everything in this movie I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I was going to.
I think because we set our expectations so low, I think we were just more surprised with how good it actually was.
Yeah, and it came out at a time where it had been a while since I really was into Dragon Ball and had, been exposed to a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. Yeah. So I had kind of, I had just been distanced from the series, so that also kind of, diminished my hype a little bit.
For sure.
But on seeing it, it brought it all back, and I remember I was texting you the other day because I stayed up, all night rewatching the first arc of Dragon Ball Super.
Hell yeah.
Which was super fun. Super fun, you might say. So, I guess one of the big things I want to talk about is the new forms that we see for our main characters. We got Orange Piccolo, which
was badass.
I guess I'll call it Orange Piccolo.
Yeah, Orange Piccolo.
Which I guess is, I learned about this after the fact because I was watching videos on it, is I guess based on some kind of a Namekian legend of you know how the Super Saiyan was a Saiyan legend, and I guess there's an equivalent to that in Namek lore.
Damn.
And so this is kind of the Namekian version of going Super Saiyan. It's the orange form.
Dude, there's way more canon in DBZ than I thought, because I didn't know that.
I think a lot of it
that's from.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I would imagine though that a lot of it has been retrofitted onto or retconned into the original series. I doubt that's something Toriyama had in his head as he was writing the original DBZ in the 90s.
Right.
But they have been able to, I guess, reincorporate that lore into it.
Yeah.
In a way that makes sense. And
right.
I guess if you knew about that beforehand, then that would have been a cool thing to see.
Right.
I didn't know. That was
no
for me.
It's just a cool new form for Piccolo.
Yeah, and then the other one is Gohan. I guess they're calling it his beast form.
Is that what
that's what I've heard it referred to.
Because it almost looks like Ultra Instinct.
It does look like Ultra Instinct. People are saying it's potentially more powerful than that.
I wouldn't be surprised, because they say they've said that Gohan can be way stronger than Goku if he actually tried.
So apparently, I don't know. I'm not a power scaler.
Yeah, same.
I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. But I was just again watching videos about people talking about the new forms and how they relate to old forms. And there's speculation that he could beat Jiren potentially in that form.
Holy
which
shit.
Is pretty nuts, because
that's insane.
That was a very hard thing for Goku to do.
Yeah, they needed the whole ass crew to help beat him.
Yeah, but that's also just kind of how power scaling works, I guess, in Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
whatever shows up later is more powerful than what showed up before.
Right.
Which it's fun, but it does lead to, I guess, to diminishing returns in terms of power scaling stuff, which is why I like JoJo so much.
I know.
Because they're being able to reset with new characters and new stuff every single time, I guess, prevents the power creep from getting too bad.
Right.
But with Dragon Ball, since they stick with the same set of characters, if they want the story to keep going,
it just gets obscenely strong.
Yeah, they do have some more interesting power stuff, I think, in the Tournament of Power. You got to see some different types of powers rather than just ki blasts.
Fighting and that. Yeah. Like what we're used to in Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah, so what did you think of the reveal of Cell and Cell coming back as being the kind of final boss of this movie?
I was hyped so when they first said that Cell, they were doing a Cell 2 basically.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking sick. I cannot wait to see. I won't say I was super disappointed, but I wish we would have seen more Cell, and he wouldn't have been just a big giant monster, evil monster guy.
I'm glad you say that, because I'm on the exact same page. Yeah, I was really excited to see Cell again, because I think Cell is my favorite OG Dragon Ball Z villain.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a preference for Frieza, but for whatever reason, I just like Cell more.
I think Frieza comes back a ton.
They overuse Frieza a lot.
Yeah.
Did you see in the manga he came back again? He's got a new form.
Yeah.
They just, I feel like they rely on Frieza way too much.
Yeah.
So
then they have this they can make new Moro the Destroyer in the manga. He's pretty cool. I liked him as a villain, but they just keep bringing Frieza back.
Yeah, I guess because he's the most iconic one, and he's the first guy that Goku goes Super Saiyan against.
Right.
But yeah, they use him too much, and I wish we could see more Cell, because Cell was really cool, and he had I liked his attitude. I guess he felt like a really
what's the word?
I don't know, he's just kind of a dick, but in a fun way.
Pompous. Yeah, kind of pompous.
Yeah, but I just enjoyed Cell as a character, which is why seeing him come back, and he was awesome, and the fight was sick, and he was powerful and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really a character, he was just a monster, which, unfortunately, that's the thing that I liked the most about Cell, was
that he was
his personality. Yeah. So, that was a little bit disappointing, I will say. But the fight itself was very, very cool. And it was still cool to see Cell again.
Dude, when the Gamma, what was it, 1 or 2 flew up into the air?
2, yeah. And they did
down.
Yes, dude, that scene was amazing. Sick. And he blocks it with his arm and then it cuts his arm off.
Yeah, that was fucking
I really thought he was going to, when he goes to step on him, I thought he was going to absorb him. Because he's an android, and he can absorb androids and like take their power like he did in the original Cell Saga.
Right.
I really thought that was going to kind of come into play at some point, and he would power up like even more than he was already, which would have been nuts. But
would have been.
I guess he was strong enough as is.
Yeah. Well, shoot, Gohan had to do a whole ass new form to beat him.
I know, but then once he was in that new form, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah. God, that was so sick.
Yeah. Another thing that was sick was Broly making a little bit of a cameo appearance. I'm so glad we're seeing him again because
Chilai, bro.
The whole interaction with Beerus and Chilai was a little cringe, but it was funny.
It was hilarious. But yes, Broly coming back
doesn't really play a huge role. It's just a cameo, but
still seeing him, and like he's training with the crew now, which is badass.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to be reincorporated and whether that has anything to do with the manga anymore, because he hasn't come back in the manga.
Not that I know of. It's been, I think I'm like 10 to 20 chapters, not 20, it's got to be like 10 to 15 chapters behind right now, so I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. But I don't think he's come back yet.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know where this movie takes place in the overall timeline.
Yeah, I don't either.
I thought that it took place right after the Broly movie.
But it's like
before the Moro arc?
It's several years after, I think, because everybody's grown up. Because Broly took place after Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
And then Moro happens directly after the Tournament of Power.
Yeah, but I think this maybe takes place in between Tournament of Power and Moro.
You think so?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because in Broly, damn, I guess we don't see any of the side characters that we see in this movie really in Broly.
Yeah, because you see like Trunks and Goten are older in this.
Yeah.
But then they also have a line where it's like, whoa, you guys grew up really quick. It's like,
maybe because they're saying
overnight
aged quickly.
Yeah, well, they said something about like saying stay really small for a long time, and then all of a sudden they have a crazy growth spurt. So I think maybe that was meant to explain why they looked older, even though it hasn't been that much time.
Right. Do you mind if I look and see if there's an answer online to when this takes place?
You go ahead, man.
I don't know if you've looked or not, but I'm actually pretty curious.
Yeah. So we're kind of getting really into the weeds on Dragon Ball stuff here. If you don't like Dragon Ball, apologize, but that's what we're talking about for the time being. They're still playing that in theaters, huh?
Oh, apparently.
I'm surprised. Usually anime movies do not take place.
Well, it did super well.
It did do super well, yeah. It's, I think, the highest grossing anime movie, period.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is impressive, because Jujutsu Kaisen 0 and Demon Slayer Mugen Train did really, really well as well.
When did you say you thought it took place? Before Broly, but after?
Right after Broly, but before the Moro arc.
Okay.
Okay, so
Dragon Ball Super takes place at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Guru gives this year as 778 when Beerus shows up at the start of Dragon Ball Super. This one takes place sometime after the series' 5th arc, the Galactic Patrol Prisoner.
That's the Moro arc, right?
This is middle of It's right around. It's right around the Moro arc. Yeah. Gotcha. It might be right.
The Galactic Patrol Prisoner Saga.
Yeah, so this is right before the beginning of this is like the start of the Moro saga, basically.
Gotcha.
So I think you're right. Yeah, before Moro, after Broly.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess Broly's just still working on his training, while everybody else does stuff.
Yeah,
because he, I guess, has a liability to go crazy and turn on you like the Hulk in the middle of a fight.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess overall, you want to put a score on it? What do you think about that?
Okay, so I think out of 10, I would need to watch it another time, but I think I want to give it an 8 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and then out of 3, I would say definitely a 2, but a 3 if you like Dragon Ball. Like if you're Dragon Ball, if you're on the edge about going to watch this because you're not sure if it's going to be good.
So you're saying must watch for Dragon Ball fans.
Must watch for Dragon Ball
Decent
fans.
fun for anybody else.
Yeah, because it explains, if you like anime and you want to watch a good, fun movie, I would say this is a good, fun movie to watch. And it explains stuff beforehand, so you don't really need to know.
Yeah, you get enough context that you can kind of go into it.
And plus, that's how we got into Dragon Ball in the first place. We just watched Broly with like
with zero context. And
no
I feel
context. Yeah.
That one kind of gives you a decent amount of recap at the beginning too.
Yeah,
so
for
that
sure.
helps as well. I think that's kind of the expectation, is that some people are going to see it out of context.
Yeah.
So they kind of make it with that in mind. Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on your scores.
8 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think so. We use a lot of scores here, don't we?
We really do.
I feel like having a wide range of numbers, though, gives you the best idea of what we're trying to get at. Because if I just say 7, it's like, okay.
What is that supposed to mean?
Not super duper descriptive.
Right.
So we're going to segue into Chainsaw Man here. Yes. Did you read 103?
I sure did.
Okay, good. I was a little worried you weren't going to have read the 103. So we're covering 2 chapters, obviously, because we missed last week.
Yeah.
Chapter 102 and 103.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy Denji is back.
He's
the Chainsaw Man.
Back. And as classic as ever.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Denji, I love him so much. He's a great main character.
Yeah, so right at the end of 101, which is where we last talked about, the Bat Devil shows up.
Yes.
And I thought in that episode where we talked about that Denji would show up and kill the Bat Devil, which kind of happens, but what actually happens is he's fighting a completely different devil and just accidentally kills the Bat Devil. Just gets caught in the crossfire. And that was a pretty sweet fight.
Yeah, it was, dude. That was the 2-week wait, right? Because he was...
Yeah, because
it was 40 pages long. It was a longer chapter, wasn't it?
No. I don't think it was that long. I think it was...
I thought it was longer.
I think it was just a big fight with Chainsaw Man involved in it. That's why it took longer. I don't remember it being super long. But also, I don't know, action scenes without any dialogue you read through really fast. True. So it might have felt shorter even though it was longer.
Yeah.
It's not like I was counting the pages, but I just assumed it was shorter because I read it really quickly.
Yeah. There were a lot of like full page spreads in that one.
Oh, God, that was really nice looking. That's going to be cool to see animated whenever the anime catches up to that part.
Dude, we're probably like about a month and like a week or 2 away from the anime starting.
Yeah, do we have an exact date in October or just October?
Just October right now. Yeah, because I was looking at that the other day.
That's going to be interesting to see, but I'm very excited.
I know. I'm shaking a little bit because I'm so excited.
So the devil that he's fighting is the cockroach devil.
Yes.
And I guess I'm editing this episode, so I'll put a picture up on screen of what the cockroach devil looks like, because that's not what I thought the guy would be. I saw the fight started, and I assumed it was like one of the big bad, like one of the 4 horsemen or something, but it's just the cockroach devil. It looks so cool for no reason. And Denji kicks its ass, but before he does that, the cockroach devil does a little Green Goblin trick on him where he's like, you can save this, what is it, like an old lady or a car with... it's 2 people, and Denji lets both people die and saves the cat. It's just off screen. Oh my god. Which was very funny. Classic Denji. Very kind of a subversion of the expectation of the kind of superhero trope of like, actually, I'm going to save both of them, but no, he saves neither of them. And he ends up saving a cat that you don't even know is there until after he saves it.
Hell yeah.
Which I was thinking...
Gotta be.
A little bit of a reference to Power, because she was super into cats, and so that's like, I don't know. Or he's just being a goofy guy, but...
I hope she comes back so bad.
She's got to. They wouldn't... I feel like they wouldn't have left that door open if there was no chance of her coming back.
Right.
They would have just definitively killed her if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So I assume at some point we will
see her come
get
back.
more of power.
Hell yeah.
And so that was pretty much all of chapter 102 was just that fight, and then him choosing the cat at the end.
Yeah.
And then
very sick.
That rolls into 103 where we get it starts with like news interviews of the news interviewing people about what they think about Chainsaw Man, and there's like girls asking about his number and like all that stuff, and then they interview Denji, and he's like, I'm just guessing, but his number might be 384.
I laughed out loud when I read it. That was awesome. And then the news guy's like, don't say your number. Don't say your number.
Yeah. And so after the interviews, Toji takes him aside, who's, I guess we are now realizing, goes to the same high school as Asa, and I guess Denji goes to that high school too.
Yeah.
So they're all in the same school together, which is going to be interesting going forward to see how those interactions play out.
I wonder if it'll be kind of like a bunch of monsters at school are trying to attack him while he's going to school.
I don't know.
Because that would be kind of a cool...
I'm sure that'll happen at least a couple times.
Yeah.
But Fujimoto's writing style is just so chaotic that I feel like
it is.
I'm not confident in making any real predictions that far out, more than a chapter or two.
You really
he just goes so nuts.
Yeah.
Whenever you get onto Fire Punch,
yes.
Just try every once in a while to text me and like...
I'll probably be texting you.
And guess what you think is going to happen. Because I guarantee you won't be able to. It's super, super wild.
Hell yeah.
So Toji takes him aside and they have dinner at a little cafe or lunch or something.
Yeah.
And Toji, I guess, is part of some organization that wants to protect Chainsaw Man.
Kind of feels like he's becoming like Makima 2.0.
Maybe. Because the public safety division that's still a thing, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
But the way he's talking about it makes it sound like he's part of a separate organization from that.
Yeah.
And maybe also Denji is not part of public safety anymore?
Maybe.
Maybe after the fight with Makima, he just quit?
Or because Makima wasn't there and she was like
she was the one,
kind of a thing. Maybe because she's not there anymore, he can leave and go do something else.
Maybe. I feel like also at this point though, there's very few people who could take him down in a fight, so he can kind of just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So
especially nobody could beat him in a fight, I don't think.
I mean, there's plenty of devils we don't know about, but out of the characters that we do know about, I think maybe the Mads Mikkelsen looking guy would be the one with the best chance of taking him down. But even that, I'm not 100% sure, especially not if he goes into his fully unleashed form.
Man. Yeah.
That was nuts.
That was so
I don't know if he can go into that on purpose, though, or if that only happened because he experienced such a traumatic experience that like his Denji mind kind of shut off and went into just his instinct mode.
Right.
So I don't know if he can do that on command. I don't think he can, but if he's put into another situation where that's necessary, then
maybe he can practice to like control that form.
Maybe
like a berserk situation.
Oh yeah, like the berserker armor. I was thinking of Hulk in
or Hulk. Yeah, that
how he's like smart Hulk right now. So that's interesting. They're like protecting him, and they don't want him to reveal his identity, but he does want to reveal his identity because he thinks it's going to get him babes.
He's probably not wrong.
Yeah, so he's just horny on main at all times. That's Denji.
That's Denji.
Very in character for him.
The horniest main character.
So yeah, it makes sense that he would want to have his secret identity revealed because the chicks would be all over him.
Oh yeah.
That's Denji for sure. And that's kind of where we end up that chapter.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying
Me too.
the new chunk of Chainsaw Man so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first volume release of these chapters is going to be coming out in Japan at sometime soon, because I think Fujimoto said he was working on cover art for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't get the volumes here until
how many chapters
way later.
In Chainsaw? You bought the first 3 Fire Punch.
Yeah.
The first 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's 97 chapters total in the first 11 volumes.
So if it's 99, so like 9 chapters, 8 or 9 chapters?
Yeah, something like that per volume. So we're not quite there yet, but once we get there, then I guess the volume will come out in Japan, and then it'll come out here in probably like a year later after that, because we are super behind on physical releases for manga, which is annoying. I mean, I get that it takes time to translate and all that, but
at least it's not like, did you get this for yourself too?
Get it for myself too. I had that.
Is this a different one?
I lent that to you.
What? You didn't lend this to me, did you?
I thought I did. Censor?
Mm-mm.
Censor by Junji Ito.
No,
I must have lent it to Justin. That's what happened.
Sorry to fucking...
Oh. Do you have that?
No. I thought this was the one you got me from
the
birthday
Liminal
the
Zone.
other day.
Gotcha.
It looked kind of similar. Sorry.
Sidetracked.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's Censor by Junji Ito.
Junji Ito makes good stuff.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah.
I think I like his short stories more than his longer form stuff, but the longer form stuff is still entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Go ahead, sorry. I was going to move us back to what we were talking about.
Oh, I was too. So Chainsaw Man is very entertaining so far. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. But more on Fujimoto's other work. We both recently read his one-shot, Goodbye Eri.
Greg made me cry while I was working one day.
I was getting close to tearing up at work too.
Oh, it was so... Yeah. It was non-spoilery. Good call.
Yeah, so just...
It was really good. It was really good. It was, how would you describe it?
It is a story about a boy who makes a movie about his deceased mother, and it's poorly reviewed. People don't like it, and so, except for one girl who does like it, and she encourages him to make another movie.
Yes.
And most of the story is them figuring out what that movie is going to be. And then once he finishes it, kind of the aftermath of that and how it all plays out within the context of his movie. Because the whole framing of it, all the manga panels are drawn in the same kind of aspect ratio of his phone camera recording stuff.
Yep.
Which is interesting because it lends this uncertainty as to whether what you're reading is actually happening or if it's part of the movie.
Right. Yeah, because there were a couple of times where I was reading and then it was like, oh, this is part of the movie. I was like, whoa, hold on. I need to read that again in a different way because I didn't realize, the scene where they're having dinner with
his dad gets upset. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this is brutal. This sucks for him because... this girl is his friend, all this, all that.
Right.
And then it turns out it's not. I was like, oh, shoot, it's just part of the movie.
Right, yeah, and there's a couple different scenes like that where after reading the scene, it kind of recontextualizes what the scene before was. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is part of the movie, and then it's not. And then other times it's, like you said, the other way around.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just super cool and interesting and how it, reframes the way you think about things. I really enjoyed it quite a lot, and it
was really good. I'm glad you told me to read it because I would have never even thought about it.
Yeah, it just Tatsuki Fujimoto's stuff. Obviously, Goodbye Eri is the same author as Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch and a couple of other things. Everything he writes so far it just hits different. He's a really, really talented mangaka.
Very talented.
So I guess there's not a whole lot more I can say about it, to be honest, without spoiling anything.
I know.
So we already talked about the paneling being kind of like a phone camera, but I guess I wanted to talk about just the theme of kind of preserving someone in the way that they want to be thought of after they die, as opposed to how they actually were as a person. Because partway through the story, you realize that his mom that he made the movie about, he makes this beautiful, very touching movie about his mother's final days. And you find out later that she actually sucked. She was not a nice person at all. She was awful. Yeah. But because of the way he filmed her and put the movie together, she seemed like a super great,
wonderful mom.
Yeah. So it was very interesting to see how that was changed. And then also when Eri dies, you get the same kind of reveal of they weren't actually, because you kind of think that they're dating over the course of it, but then you realize that's just part of the movie. Yeah. And in real life, she was just kind of telling him to do this and do that. And also that she wore glasses, but she took them off for the scenes that they were filming. So you don't see her with glasses on the whole time. So everything that you see of her is part of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, crazy.
But phenomenal. Would recommend reading. Goodbye, Eri?
Yeah.
Eri? It's very good.
What did you think of Eri as a character and her dynamic with the protagonist character?
So I don't know, because when you're reading it, you're thinking, oh wow, these guys work really well together, because it's all from the film standpoint.
Right.
But then once you get to the end, it's like, damn, how did they actually interact? Because...
Yeah, he's talking to Aries' friend after she passes away, and it's revealed that she's not quite who we thought she was over the course of it.
Right, but the whole point of the movie was to make her seem nicer.
Yeah, because that's how she wanted to be preserved, because she saw the way that he had done that for his mom.
Right.
What do you think about her being a vampire at the end of the movie and being...
I thought it was a joke for a second, bro. I was like... So, when he was walking back to, what was it, like just an abandoned building?
Yeah, that's the same abandoned building that she took him to watch movies the first time they met.
When he was going to the abandoned building, I was thinking, damn, is she gonna be there? Because she did, like, joke that she was a vampire before, and he was like, ooh, like, we could just pretend you're a vampire in the movie. And I was like, is she gonna be there? And then she showed up. I was like...
Well, he came up with the idea that she was a vampire for his movie.
Right.
And,
that's what I meant.
Yeah. So he had come up with it, and then that was part of the context of the film. And then at the end of the movie, his family passes away, like in a car accident or something. And so he goes back to that building because he's going to commit suicide.
Right.
And he sees her sitting there looking exactly like how she did when they were kids. And he's an adult by now.
I thought he was like hallucinating.
Yeah.
Almost.
So I think that's just more of the movie.
Like, you think so?
I think that was just more of it. Because they talk about adding in a touch of fantasy to the movie, of like, it's mostly realistic, but sometimes you just need a touch of something unrealistic to kind of
end it,
draw people in, or to make it more interesting. Because that's kind of a theme they talked about through the whole time, was the touch of fantasy. And that's why he has the explosion at the end of the movie with his mom, with his mom's movie at the beginning.
Yep.
So for him to come in and see that she's a vampire and that she actually just lost her memories, and you want to use the movie that he made to become the person that she wants to be. And then he walks out and that building explodes behind him, which is what makes me think it's part of his movie.
That would be wild, dude. I didn't even think about that.
But I'm not sure. I think that's just supposed to be up to your interpretation. Because I'm thinking maybe he actually does kill himself. He gets there and he kills himself, but that's just like how the movie of his perception ends. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's all just ambiguous intentionally. Yeah.
Damn, that would be wild. But it would also make sense, because do you think his family actually died then?
I don't know. If he does kill himself at the end, then I think yes.
Yeah.
But if the whole thing is a movie, then maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Fujimoto, it's different, bro.
He's so good.
Very talented.
Metaphor?
He's like, what? Oh, whether the vampire thing is a metaphor for, I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that. I was thinking the vampire thing might be a metaphor for something. Yeah. But that was like two and a half weeks ago that I wrote that. So I don't remember what I meant there.
Dang, that is nuts. Because if it was all a movie, that would be so wild. But also, with the way he writes, it definitely could all be.
He's very much a movie fan, I've noticed, Tatsuki Fujimoto. He reminds me of Quentin Tarantino. He's like the Tarantino of manga. He just really is in tune with just the language of film.
Yeah.
Even all of the volume releases of Chainsaw Man, he gives a little movie recommendation at the beginning of all of them. Movie like, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever. He just puts it at the beginning of every volume, which is super fun. I would like to just go through every volume and watch all the movies that he recommends.
That would be so sweet.
Yeah, there'd be a fun marathon to do. So, yeah, all in all, read Goodbye Eri. It's on the Shonen Jump app. There's also less legal ways you could read it if you're so inclined.
Yeah, but I mean, even for the Shonen app, it's like $1.99 a month. You could just cop it for a month. Or I think there's even a free trial. You just cop the free trial. Yeah. Get rid of it after you're
Check it out. Yeah, even if you're not usually somebody who reads manga or you're not really into comics or whatever, it's just an overall good story, and it's a self-contained story. So you don't need to have read anything else. You don't need to be familiar with the rest of his work. It's just I don't know, maybe
it took me like half an hour to an hour to read it, I think.
Something around that time frame of a read, and it's just a standalone one-shot comic story, and it's very interesting and might tug at the heartstrings a little bit. Very much.
It was like, I read it at like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just like sitting in my truck, just like, I had to put my phone down. I took my glasses off. I was doing one of these. I was like, oh my God. And I texted Greg. I was like, dude, fuck you, making me cry at work.
Yeah, I read it on my lunch break, and then I was immediately like, I gotta send this to Logan. This bastard. So a little bit of a big tonal shift. I'm sorry, we're kind of just like hammering out the topics because I feel like we just haven't done a podcast in a long time.
We want to get through our shit,
We want to get through everything, but also just get a feel for how to do it again. I feel rusty, honestly.
So when I was on my way over here, I was like, I feel weird today.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
I think so. I think we're doing pretty good right now.
You gonna check, make sure we're still recording?
Double check.
That's a great call.
It's fucking Isaiah.
It's gotta be.
Isaiah, when you watch this, dude, I don't know if we're going to be able to have you on the set anymore. We might just have to have you, like, record separately.
And we'll put a little picture, like, right here. And then you can be between us.
And we'll just do it all, like, we'll do it virtually. We'll just get on, like, Discord and do it that way so you don't fucking turn the camera off.
Oh, man, he's gonna ruin the camping special. We're going to lose half of our footage.
Oh, no. That would be terrible.
Yeah, well... We're getting into the swing of things here. Not every episode has to be a banger, but we're having fun. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Speaking of having fun, She-Hulk. Episodes 2 and 3. We're covering 2 and 3 today.
Before we go any further,
I think I know what you're going to talk about, but go ahead.
I don't think you do, because it's just a quick... I really like She-Hulk. It's good. I'm having a blast.
Okay, that's what I figured you were going to say, but also I thought maybe you were going to contextualize it with the fact that it's getting a lot of hate online.
Yeah, it is getting a lot of hate. And like Isaiah said, he didn't like it either, but like, it's not a... I think people are trying to want this. I think people want this to be like a Loki or a WandaVision or a Hawkeye with like huge stakes and like crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, well, because it's not really a superhero show in the traditional sense. It's more like just a comedy.
Sitcom.
Yeah, it's a comedy with superhero characters in it.
Yes.
And the format is that of a sitcom of just here's fun situations for these characters to be in and how they handle those. And there's not really any kind of big dramatic stakes. I mean, we're a third of the way through the show, and there's not really like a main villain or anything like that yet. Maybe there will be, but so far it's been...
I mean, there are 9 episodes. We're only 3 in.
It's a third of the way. But I don't think it needs to be. It's not. It's just not that kind of show.
Honestly, if it was just like this for the rest of the show, just kind of
doing slice of life, like lawyer stuff.
I
wouldn't mind that at all.
Because she's going to be in some superhero movie and she'll fight a bad guy at some point.
Right.
But I'm okay with having her first show be just like a chill, slice of life, superhero at work kind of a gig, you know? Fighting a little bit of crime here and there, but mostly just focused on her.
Yeah, I agree. I've been enjoying it quite a lot.
Yeah. The whole Megan Thee Stallion thing in the last episode was fucking hilarious.
It was very goofy.
And then she showed up at the end in the courtroom. I fucking had to pause
the post-credit scene where they were twerking at the end.
Twerking at the end.
That scene's been getting clowned on a lot on Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
I don't like in a bad way.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too. I don't know. People have this just, like you said, expectations of what they think the show is going to be. Because a lot of what I've been seeing is like the MCU then, and it'll show like a badass scene from The Incredible Hulk in 2008. Yeah. And it'll be like the MCU now, and then it's just She-Hulk twerking. And it's like, it's totally different types of scenes that you're comparing. This is a comedy, and Hulk. This is a superhero action, almost horror type character. It's different. Yes, exactly. Hulk is like, at the time, Hulk was just a crazy raging green monster. Mm-hmm. She-Hulk is like just Jennifer Walters, but bigger and green. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people having issues that it's like too much comedy, which is a common complaint in the MCU, but I feel like it works for this show. Even in the comics, though, She-Hulk is a more comedic character, certainly a lot more so than classic Hulk. She fucking breaks the fourth wall. Yeah, her and Deadpool are the only characters that do that. Yeah. And when you've got something in common with Deadpool, that's you're goofy. Yeah. You're gonna be goofy. Right.
Yeah, it's dumb. I don't like that people aren't liking, because I'm okay with getting more shows in the MCU like this.
Yeah, not everything needs to contribute to the overarching storyline.
Yeah.
Although I would like sooner or later for them to start pushing in that direction, having things build together. But especially on the TV side of things,
yeah,
I think the TV shows being kind of inessential is not that big of a deal.
Right.
I think honestly, I would assume people would be more upset if all the TV shows were super essential, because that's more shit you have to keep up with.
Exactly.
But to have some of them be skippable, and it's like, if you like it, watch it. If you don't like it, you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
I think that's fine, and I like it, so I'll watch it.
Same. Yeah, I'll keep watching. And the whole like the cameos, I'm stoked for. Like, we've already gotten Abomination, Wong. We know we're gonna get Daredevil. Has there been any other confirmed?
Frogman is a guy that's going to show up. I've seen the concept art of the costume floating around the internet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like shit like that. That's hilarious, and that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see like kind of goofy stuff.
Yeah, especially some of the like maybe D-list villains that you normally would not see in anything. Maybe taking on cases, helping out some of these really low level guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to maybe give a little bit of a recap of what's been going on? Episodes 2 and 3, you don't have to go super in depth, but sure, just hit the major beats so that we're
So
contextualizing a little bit.
Episode 2, 2 weeks ago. Damn. Let's see. So
that's why I asked you to do it.
You threw me under the bus. So let's see. Episode 2. Holy shit.
That's where she gets the case.
Yeah, she first starts at the lawyer firm place.
Yeah, they hire her because she's She-Hulk.
Yep, because she got fired from her other job.
And they want her to work as She-Hulk.
Yep, and they want her to... Her first job, they want her to represent Emil Blonsky, Abomination. So you meet Abomination, which was pretty sick. I really like Abomination, Emil Blonsky in this, being more like Smart Hulk.
Yeah, very different take. He's kind of like a chill.
Yeah.
Do you think that's
real?
Yeah. Do you think that's for real, or do you think that's
I'm torn because it seems like it's bullshit because it's the Abomination and he's just like he's a bad guy.
But also Wong is backing him up. Like he seemed pretty confident that Wong was a good guy, or that Abomination's a good guy.
And Bruce was like, yeah, he wrote me this nice haiku or whatever, and like. Totally cool about letting him get out. He's got, I don't know, it seems like it's real. It seems like he's actually reformed a bit.
So it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Do you think they're going to throw him on the Thunderbolts?
That's
like maybe that's going
to
be a condition of his parole or something like that?
Yeah.
They seem hesitant to really let him go.
Yeah. I bet they'll let him out, and then at some point, maybe even in this show, he'll be recruited. Maybe like at the end, he'll get recruited by... the chick from Seinfeld to join up with the rest of the crew on Thunderbolts. That would make sense, especially since, rest in peace, Mr. Hurt playing Thaddeus Ross.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to get Red Hulk, or at least not that version of Red Hulk.
Right.
Probably not soon.
Yeah, so that would make sense to have him be on that team. Same thing like with Agatha. Because we're thinking maybe Agatha might be on that team. That would be cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that movie.
Same. Thunderbolts are cool. I haven't read a ton of them, but it's almost like a Suicide Squad kind of.
Yeah, Marvel's. You know what would be fun is if they give it to James Gunn, because he's going to be done with Guardians after Volume 3. So maybe they give him Thunderbolts and he can just do another Suicide Squad.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
I don't know if you'd want to, but that would be fun if he did.
Yeah. What was that's pretty much what happened in episode 2, yeah?
She gets the case, and then she's...
has to decide if she wants to actually take it.
And she calls it the Hulk. Yeah, and we see that he's going to space. He got on
that was the end credit scene. Yeah, he was going out to Sakaar. Hopefully to meet his son.
World War Hulk type stuff leading up to, but perhaps?
I saw an article. Of course, I don't remember what the article was.
Yeah, of course.
But it said that... Mark Ruffalo would be interested in doing like a Maestro situation. Do you know who he is?
Maestro?
Maestro.
Yeah.
You know who he is.
I've heard the name for sure.
So basically like Dictator Hulk. Big evil Hulk, basically. Who just goes around and fucking kills everybody. takes their
Interesting. That'd be fully in the opposite direction of where we're at right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how that would work. But I mean, if they're doing a World War Hulk situation and he just like loses his mind and reverts back to super like crazy Hulk and fucking starts going nuts, maybe Maestro is like a third personality. Maestro, there's like a third personality that comes up and like kind of takes over for a little while. That would be a wild thing to do, but that is a thing from Logan. It's a thought from Logan's brain.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was from like X-Men. Like,
no. Like a thought
what?
from Logan.
I was like,
a thought from my
you, Logan. I got you.
Oh my god, bro.
What?
The Wolverine reference in episode 2.
Oh yeah, they do a
man gets into a bar fight with claws or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a little headline as they're scrolling through job listings or whatever on a computer. You can see that a dude with claws gets into a bar fight.
I can only hope.
I'm certain that is meant to be a Wolverine reference. Whether we're going to get him soon or not, I don't know, but that's got to be what it is.
Yeah. Who else has metal claws? I can't think of anybody, but
his daughter, Laura Kinney.
Yeah, true. X-23. Yeah, episode 2 was solid. I liked episode 2 a lot.
Yeah, so that's basically where that ends up. And then episode 3 is
she meets with Wong. We get Wong, a little Wong action.
Yeah, and he kind of explains what he was doing in the Fight Club at what is the name of the city? Madripoor.
Yeah, in Madripoor. Do we know when this takes place?
Well, after Shang-Chi, clearly.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure.
Because I'm wondering if it takes place before Multiverse of Madness. It has to. It has to, because he talks about not doing the erasing everybody's memory.
That was in Spider-Man, though. So after Spider-Man, for sure. But we don't know if it's before or after Multiverse of Madness.
True, yeah.
I'm sure there's a timeline somewhere that we could look up. But yeah, somewhere in there. With the Superhuman Law Division, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. What's going on with the Sokovia Accords? Because I feel like that kind of got dropped after Infinity War.
Yeah. Maybe because of the blip. Everybody was just like...
He's just got bigger things
going
on to worry about than that. But I feel like everything's more or less back to normal. We don't really get a ton of references to the blip anymore. So I feel like if we're going to be working in a legal setting and the legality of superheroes and superhuman law type stuff, if we're going to get into that, it would be interesting to see whether the Sokovia Accords will come up at some point, because I think that applied specifically to the Avengers. But
I got to assume it's got to reach over everybody.
I don't know. We never see the specific wording of the laws in there.
True.
But even so, we've got Avengers. People who are on the Avengers team, like the Hulk, who are out and about doing things. Are they under contract to the Sokovia Accords? Because Hulk wasn't even on planet at the time when that happened, and neither was Thor.
Damn, I guess I don't know.
Well, who was Team Iron Man? Because they would have been the ones who signed.
Black Panther, Spider-Man, Black Widow, kind of, Vision, Scarlet Witch. Was Scarlet Witch not there yet?
She was there. Oh, okay, all of those characters are dead, and Spider-Man is forgotten by everybody.
Yeah.
So
I guess the Sokovia Accords don't matter anymore.
Team Cap, let's go.
The whole crew died.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, those would have been the only people who confirmed signed it.
Yeah.
So everybody else who's running around.
Rhodey.
Yeah. He would have as well, I guess.
He's not dead yet.
Maybe we'll find out more about that in Armor Wars, or maybe it'll be a cameo in this one. I don't know.
Armor Wars wasn't even on the list of stuff.
The director or the producer, whoever's running the show, the showrunner, I guess, of Armor Wars, put out a tweet that said he's still working on it. It hasn't been canceled. So we don't know when it's coming out, but it is going to come out at some point.
I am pretty curious to see what that show's like. Did you want another one of these?
Yeah, I just finished this one.
Perfect. I'm very curious to see what that show's going to be like, because I mean, I don't know. Oh, sorry, we didn't do this thing.
That's all right. I wasn't sure if you wanted to or not.
I don't know. Rhodey's cool, and War Machine's cool, but like...
Well, he's just always been a secondary character, but...
I bet they'll have Ironheart be in it, too.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine if we're getting her in Black Panther 2. Have you
she's
seen?
getting a whole ass show too.
Yeah, they're doing maybe an Ironheart show. Have you seen concept art of what her suits are going to look like? And
Looks fucking sick.
Looks very cool. Her suits look awesome.
Very cool.
I'm pretty excited for that. Black Panther, to see everything that goes on in that.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be really cool stuff in that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing about the third episode. Wong showing up to help out Emil.
Yep.
I very much enjoyed the way he just fully admitted to committing a crime, and then he's like, "All right,
I'm out
see
here."
guys."
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's like I don't think they can really do anything about it.
He's a sorcerer supreme, bro. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Is Camartage or the sorcerer's domain or whatever? Is that like its own like legally separate nation from like Nepal? Because it's in Nepal, right?
I don't know, because I don't know
Or Kathmandu.
how aware people are of that. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, Doctor
assume it's
Strange
hidden.
is a public figure. Everybody knows about Doctor Strange.
But he lives in New York.
Yeah. But the Sanctum Sanctorum, I guess, would be part of that too, though. Like all the sanctums and that whole society, are they like
part of a different
they their
society?
own like group? You know, like how in Harry Potter you've got the
Yeah.
Muggles and then you've got the Wizarding World. Is it like that? Do they have their own like shit going on, or do they have to follow whatever? I'm just wondering if the Sorcerer Supreme has like diplomatic immunity, like he would if
I doubt it.
if he was like a president of a foreign country.
I doubt it, because I think
he has practical immunity in that
Yeah.
who the hell's going to arrest him. But
exactly.
legally speaking, I don't know. Can he be held accountable for that, or is he?
Apparently
is he
not.
like?
He just fucking
Just left. You think that's just a one-off bit, or if there will be any consequences for that at all?
I gotta assume it's just gotta be a one-off.
Probably. I figure.
Well, they let him out, Emil out. So I gotta assume.
Well, because he was innocent. They figured that it wasn't his fault, but then the blame gets put onto Wong.
Yeah, but they weren't like when they said, you admitted to a crime and he just dipped. Like they didn't really like do anything.
True.
They were just kind of like.
Well, they were just the parole board, though. It's not like they could arrest him.
True. Yeah. I don't know.
I guess it doesn't. It's probably just.
I bet it's a one-off bit. I can't imagine he's gonna get arrested and thrown in jail.
I don't think he'd be arrested. I was just wondering if there may be any trouble, or maybe he needs to come back to Jennifer Walters for legal assistance in some regard, or Daredevil's going to show up and do something. He's a lawyer too. I wonder if what would be really fun is if they were opposing attorneys.
Oh, that would be
like
cool.
if they were defending or prosecuting against each other.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be interesting.
I wonder how big of a part he's going to have in the show.
I wouldn't imagine huge, but he'll probably be in an episode or two.
Right. Well, because we're seeing most of these people, most of these cameos, probably for like 1 or 2 episodes.
Right.
So I gotta assume probably about that for Daredevil too.
Yeah. Well, she's got that. She-Hulk's got that little aside that she does in the car where she's like, "This isn't going to be a cameo every single week, except for the Hulk and Wong
and Abomination."
And Abomination, yeah.
I gotta say, her fourth wall breaking is pretty well done too.
Yeah, it's good. It's not too much.
Exactly.
And it feels different from the way that Deadpool does it. It's a little bit more. It's less goofy, I guess. The way Deadpool does it really feels like he's taking the fourth wall and yanking it and fucking with it. Whereas she's just kind of like, hey, this is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So it's got a little bit of a different flavor to it, but it's good.
I like it. I mean, I really like the show. I don't understand. Well, I guess I understand why people aren't liking it, because they want something more, like more MCU-like.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. It's fine the way it is.
Yeah, well, I think the way the comics are, most people will not read every single Marvel comic.
No.
You'll pick 1 or 2 characters that you like, or maybe some team-ups that you like, and you'll follow those as best you can. But you're not going to read every single book Marvel puts out, because that'd be way too much.
They fucking put out like 6 different X-Men comics in a month.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So and they're like $4 or $5 a piece. So there's absolutely no chance.
So
everybody is just reading every single comic.
So in the comics, they can have all these different types of stories and characters because you just find the one you like and you read it. But with the movies and shows, for whatever reason, people go, well, it's canon. I have to watch it. I have to read it.
Yeah.
So if I want to be a part of the story, I got to watch all these things, and maybe I don't like these TV shows as much.
Right.
Whereas if it was comic books, they would just probably not even know that they existed.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think that's maybe holding it back. There's just the fact that it is
a show
and not a comic lends it some kind of, people expect a significance or a weight to it.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how it has been in the past.
Right.
But I think as the MCU continues to become more and more like a comic book universe, you're going to start to get more different characters and spin-offs and going in other directions and storylines that, they're not all going to be for everybody, and I think that's fine.
Yeah. It does make it hard if you do want to watch all of the MCU and you don't like a show, and it is canon-y, you want to watch it, but you don't like it. That does suck, but, like, don't be a bitch.
Right. But also, I think at this point, if you are still committed to wanting to watch everything, you probably are liking the stuff that they're doing.
True.
And the kinds of people that are not into what they're doing right now are probably not gonna be the ones who need to watch everything because it's canon.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's up to you whether you want to watch the show, but I like it.
I think it's good. Yeah.
It's speaking of shows,
absolutely fucking classic. I could have called this a year ago.
The Resident Evil show that we've been clowning on, or that I've been clowning on over the course of this series. I think all the way as far back as maybe episode 1 or episode 2.
Probably episode 2 or 3.
It's been a while. Every once in a while I'll watch an episode and then I'll roast it. The series has been canceled by Netflix. They canned it.
Let's go.
And I all I have in my notes here is LMAO. I could have seen that coming. If they canceled Cowboy Bebop, they're definitely going to cancel this Resident Evil show. Yeah. I've seen some people that are a little bit upset. Like, they wanted to see where it would go, or if it might, get better.
Did you end up finishing it or no?
I didn't watch any more since the last time we talked about it. It's not good.
No, I can't blame you for not watching it, bro. It's just funny.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might finish it at some point, but the fact that it's been canceled shows me that even Netflix doesn't have faith in it anymore. So I'm not feeling too bad about it.
We've talked about this a gajillion times. I don't understand why they don't just adapt the games. They have 8 fucking games, more than 8 games that they can adapt.
Quite a few, but also, I think the games right now are at the point where playing like Resident Evil 2 Remake. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would get any more out of watching a movie adaptation of Resident Evil 2 than I would out of getting playing that game.
Yeah. I bet that looks awesome on your TV too.
Oh yeah, I just got a new, really nice 4K TV. And I've been messing around with the games. I've been playing The Last of Us Part 1, which very nice looking. Yeah. I do want to talk about that a little bit.
For sure.
Super, super gorgeous. Like, fully redoing everything in the game. Like, they took the groundwork of the original PS3 game, and I think they just completely, from the ground up, like, custom remade all of the textures and all the character models and facial stuff.
That's what it looks like when I looked at it earlier, yeah.
But it is still, at its core, the same game, so it's very faithful to the original, very similar to how Demon's Souls was. Way better graphics, but plays basically the same.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, is it worth it for $70? That's kind of expensive for what is, a game that you could buy the remastered PS4 version for probably like $15-$20 now. It's probably not very expensive. So it's like, I'm getting the same overall gameplay experience for the most part. There are little tweaks in the new version, but asking $70 for what is essentially like a visual upgrade, it does seem pretty steep. If you're not, if you don't have the means to drop that kind of cash, I definitely understand.
Right.
But for me, the way I'm looking at it is like, say you've got a favorite movie, right? Whatever your favorite movie of all time is, and you've got a DVD copy of it.
Okay.
And then they come out with like a $50 collector's edition 4K steelbook of that.
I'm buying it right now, dude.
You're gonna buy it. It's the same movie.
I gotta have 4K Cat in the Hat and a steelbook.
Yeah, for sure. The Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie. That's a stone cold classic. But you know what I'm saying? You're getting fired. We should do a little bit of a watch along episode of that movie. Maybe have some drinks and watch that one, because that is a wild movie. But that's kind of the point I'm getting at. Is like, you're getting the same thing out of it as you would out of the DVD version, but it just looks a lot nicer. And if you really are a fan of the story and of the game and you wanted to play it again, especially if you have not played it yet, this is absolutely the definitive way to play it.
Yeah. I will definitely be picking it up at some point.
Yeah, you get a lot of...
Yeah, I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying shit right now.
You got a lot to get through. How have you been liking the new JoJo game, All Star Battle R, that just came out?
Okay, so I got it the first night.
Yeah.
Played it for like 20 minutes. Got super fucking frustrated and stopped.
It's hard.
I did that first, like, so when you go to do like the story missions, that first fight with where you play as Dio versus Jonathan.
Yeah.
I could not beat Jonathan. I could not fucking beat him.
What difficulty were you? Or
it was like a 3 or a 4 star.
Gotcha.
But I didn't realize I could have played any of the other ones that night.
Oh yeah, you can play any mission out of order.
I didn't realize that. And so I was just like trying to beat him and I fucking could not do it. I was like, I'm done. I turned it off and went to bed. But then I opened it up the next day, realized that I could play whatever I wanted. And started playing, and I'm liking it a lot more. I did some practicing.
Yeah, I've been doing some practice too.
With Funny Valentine.
Oh, nice.
Bruh, he is fucking so sick.
Nice.
He's got some cool moves.
I've been messing around, like doing a match with, trying to do them with every character, or just like the coolest ones that I like the most. It's fun, and it visually is really nice looking. It really looks like the manga just come to life.
Yeah.
But man, the movement, it's hard to get used to. It feels
really slow.
Yeah, so the character movement speed is like you're the default. If you just press sideways, your character moves really slow. It's almost unbearable. So you have to run to close the gap, especially if you have a closer distance fighter. You feel like I'm always running up.
Yeah, and it's in a 3D, like a smaller 3D space. So you're kind of like trying to like, I don't. It's hard to explain.
Well, it's a 2D fighter, and it's on a 2D plane. But then you have a dodge button where you can sidestep, and then it kind of turns the camera, and then you're like that. But it's still 2D the whole time.
Right. But that was throwing me off a little bit, just because I'm not used to playing it like that. I'm used to Mortal Kombat, where it's just whoosh, and you're just fighting back and forth on a 2D plane. Yeah. But like for this, I just kept trying to like move to the side, and it would like fucking move me all. I don't know. It was weird.
Another thing that bugs me is that you cannot jump in an arc.
Nope.
You can't jump up. You can jump straight up and down, and you can crouch, and you can walk and run side to side, but you can't jump like forward and up at the same time. That does not exist. And I always want to do that, and I can't do it. And for whatever reason, that throws me way off, because you can do that in Mortal Kombat, and that's kind of the main fighting game that I play the most of, I would say. Yeah. And man, I just really want to do that little move, and I can't do it. A lot of the time, also, some of the combos are like
fucking hard.
They're weird because a lot of them involve going in different directions. Yeah, Z's on the D-pad, or doing quarter circles, which aren't too bad once you get the hang of them, but they're still...
the Z one always gets me, because like I can never get it to do like a correct Z to like pull off the move.
Do you play... do you mainly use the stick or the D-pad when you fight?
I go back and forth. Depending on the move that I'm trying to pull off, I'll do D-pad or the thumbstick.
Gotcha.
I can pull off the Z movement with the D-pad, not the D-pad, but the circle a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know like what even to do on the D-pad version of the Z, because there's not enough buttons to do a Z. It feels like... It's weird.
It's very weird. I will say one character that I do not like to play as. Jonathan. Because he has one move that I fucking hate. If you're like walking over to somebody and you hit square, he fucking punches up. Why?
Oh, like he misses them and you're right next to him?
Yeah, like I'll be pushing over like with my controller, and I'll hit square and he goes...
Oh, that's annoying.
It's fucking whack. So I have to like move over, take my finger off the D-pad or the thumbstick, and then hit square a bunch to pull off.
I find that I win fights most often when I only spam square. I just run forward, square, run forward, square. I feel like I usually win if I do that. But if I actually try to play normally or to use combos, I lose. Yeah. I get my ass kicked.
Yep. Sometimes I just get fucking frustrated and I just start mashing buttons. Or you can buy, you can spend gold to get like things to help you in your fight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's one that decreases their life by half, and then there's another one that just constantly decreases their life to 1.
Oh, man.
And so I used that to do the Dio Jonathan fight. Fucking beat him immediately.
Nice.
There was one fight, I think it was Jonathan versus Giorno in the first batch, that I did that on, because I was like, this is going to be hard as hell. Fucking beat me twice with both of those abilities on. The half health.
Giorno beat you as Jonathan? Or who were you playing as?
I was playing as Jonathan. Giorno beat me.
Oh, that makes
sense.
But
I had the decreasing and the half health, and he still kicked my ass. I just he's got the mood.
Yeah.
I could not fucking get away from it.
Yeah,
he just kept roasting me. I was getting so mad yesterday.
I feel like stand users, I almost always like to play with the stand out because it makes your range better.
Yep, me too.
Anytime it goes away, I'm like, nope, come back. I want the stand out.
Yeah.
You know who's actually pretty fun to play as is Diavolo, because he's got the time skip thing.
Oh yeah, I haven't played this in yet.
His dash forward, instead of running, he like teleports forward, like because he does a time skip forward. So
I gotta do some playing as him, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then also, he's got his super move is where he'll just like do a pose, and if you hit him while he's doing that, he does the thing that he does to Bucciarati when they first fight, and you hit it, and then it turns into your character, and then he's behind you, and he karate chops through you.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, very cool. And he's like, what you're actually seeing is a future version of yourself, and he does the little speech behind you.
Yes, that's badass. Funnies, have you played as him?
I think once or twice, yeah.
He's got a move where he can fucking put the flag down on a guy, and then it makes him go into another dimension, and they fucking fuse together.
Oh, like they hit another version of themselves, and then it does the annihilation thing?
That's his super move.
Oh, okay.
He sends him to a different plane. It like fucking flips underneath. It's very sick. I would definitely recommend it.
I did that one time, but I missed, so I didn't actually get to see the animation.
It's very sick. And then he's got another one. If you don't have his standout, and you do whatever move it is, he can make another Funny Valentine from a different universe, teleport in, kick a guy from like 20 feet away for you, and then he disappears.
Dang.
Just like it comes out of a flag, kicks down, goes back.
That's nice. Anasui is also very fun to play as Diver Down.
Oh, is he?
He does a lot of cool stuff with like, he'll dive into the ground and then he'll come up behind it and like kick from underneath the ground.
Yes.
Or his super move, I think he goes inside and like beats the shit out of all your internal organs and then bursts out of you.
Dude, so I will say, having all of those characters is super cool.
It's a little overwhelming,
but it's hard to like try to pick, and you can't like switch characters in game. You have to like back out.
Yeah.
Which like it's cool. It's an interesting way to do it, but like.
Have you played as any of the mounted fighters yet? Like Johnny and Gyro?
Yes, I played.
It's weird because the horse does more of the fighting than you do, unless you get off the horse.
Right? Yeah. I have not played as Johnny when he gets off the horse. He's just fucking laying down on the ground.
Yeah, he just kind of crawls. He's very slow. You have to get the horse back. The horse.
That's so funny. No, but it is weird to play mounted for sure.
Yeah, because Valkyrie, I guess if you're Gyro, is the one doing most of the fighting.
Yeah, he's got a big fucking move where he fucking pushes both of his front cloppers down.
Yeah, I think it really is cool how committed the game is to the cloppers.
Hooves, yes. Hooves. They make a clopping sound. Clop, clop, clop.
Yeah, like coconuts.
Yeah, like
Monty Python. Yeah. So what I was trying to say is I think it's really cool how committed Jesus, you're distracting the hell out of me. How committed they are to making everything so like accurate and cool in terms of like representing characters and stuff, instead of like being a slave to balance and making everything equal terms in terms of fighting, but to just give characters all of their powers and all the cool shit that they can do. It's really nice. Have you played as Giorno at all in the Requiem?
No, I haven't. damn it. Yeah,
I'm a big
just
fan
thought
of
about
Gold
it.
Experience Requiem. If you can't tell, I got a figure of him here.
Let's make sure that this sucker's still rolling.
Yeah, that would be tragic if it was not.
It's just Isaiah.
It must be. We're still good.
Hey, Isaiah, you're a smelly little boy.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I have not played this genre or Soft and Wet.
It's weird the color palette that they did for Josuke from Part 8.
Isn't it gold?
His sailor's outfit is orange and his stand is gold.
Weird.
Which, yeah, it's very weird because I'm used to reading the color schemes of the manga where his outfit is white and his stand is white.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm used to too. That's cool though.
It's weird. I wish there was an option to change it to the colors that I'm used to because
have you looked at the Part 8 like story section yet?
Yeah, it's all extra fights. Like it's all just him fighting other characters. There's no Part 8 fights. I'm like, damn it. There's no other Part 8 characters. There's got to be DLC.
Oh yeah, 'cause I looked and even Titty Guy.
What?
Titty Guy. His friend, not friend, from
Joshu.
Joshu, yeah.
That's how you refer to him as Titty Guy.
Joshu's not even in there.
No, he's not in it.
And he was in the original, wasn't he?
No, he was in All Star, or he was in Eyes of Heaven. That's what you're thinking
Eyes of Heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the original version of this game came out like a long time ago.
Yeah, before that. I think maybe 2013, something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty old. Yeah, so hopefully we get some DLC. There's
assume.
4 confirmed DLC fighters, plus one more that's going to be an update.
I actually just saw a YouTube video. I didn't watch it. I just saved it to my watch later about a leak about possible DLC.
I think I watched that video.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
fill me in.
the first one, they were doing data mining of the game to get into the files, and they found assets for Weather Report. So people were thinking that he is going to be probably the first DLC fighter. There's 4 confirmed DLC fighters as of right now. So they're thinking the first one is going to be Weather Report.
I gotta say, Part 7 is light on characters.
It is a little light on characters, yeah. But it's also hasn't been animated yet. So
True. Yeah. Continue.
So Weather Report, and then the other 3 we are not sure, but we do know one that is going to be a free update, so you won't have to pay for it. Okay. And that is the New Moon version of Poochie. So he'll have Sea Moon and Made in Heaven as opposed to White Snake, which originally in the original release of the game, Poochie just had access to all of his stands just as in one character, and you just have to do different things to activate to bring out the different stand. Kind of like how you can evolve Johnny's stand up from Act 1 to 4. You would be able to do that with Poochie, and then his final finisher when you had Made in Heaven would be the universe thing. So
very light on that.
Very light on that. So that's going to be an update. Probably they're thinking after that part of the anime comes out because they don't want to spoil that stuff for people.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I would imagine around batch 3, there's going to be a update, and then you'll have a separate Poochie character with access to those 2 stands instead of just the one with all 3 of them. Which I guess means that the White Snake version of the character has an expanded moveset compared to what it used to have, because that used to just be a third of his moves. Now it's a full character. And I assume it'll be the same with the Sea Moon version.
Very sick.
So that's going to be really exciting.
So say that one more time. He's got 3 different stands.
Yeah.
Which ones are in the game now? Just
White Snake.
Yeah. And then they're going to add the other 2.
Yes, and it's going to be a separate character.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like how...
so it's just one character but with 2 different stands? Or is it 2 different characters with 2 different stands?
Okay, let me start from the beginning for you. You know how Yoshikage Kira is in the game, but then also Kosaku Kawajiri is in the game, and one has his sheer heart attack mode and the other one has Bites the Dust and Stray Cat?
Yes.
It's going to be like that. So we'll have one Poochie that's just White Snake, and then we'll have another Poochie that is Sea Moon and Made in Heaven.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
So that's going to be free, and I hope they add in the Cape Canaveral stage that they cut from the original release of the game. I hope that's part of the update as well.
I would assume so.
I hope so, because the stage exists in the game.
Stages.
It would be cool. Maybe every fighter comes with a stage. That may be a lot to ask for. But if they're only doing 4 fighters, that's not a ton. So maybe 4 more stages. That'd be cool.
That would be okay by me.
I want them to at least add in the Cape Canaveral stage, because that was in the original game, and it's weird that they took it out. Yeah. I imagine they did it because of the anime and spoilers.
Yeah. Well, it's gone now.
Okay.
I don't know. I was going to say something about the game, but I forgot it.
Okay, thanks for watching, folks. This has been the Big and Stuff Podcast.
Never mind.
We'll see you next time.
Hell yeah. That was a very... Let's try that again. That was a very fast end.
Do you have something better in mind?
Thanks for watching today, guys. We'll see you next week on the Big and Stuff Podcast.
Smack your lips more. There you go. Okay.